From the food we eat, the air we breathe, the land we dwell, to the health of our body and mind and the well-being of all things in the universe. Unlock the science with Chula Radio Plus.
Welcome to Unlock the Science. I'm Virada Salim. If you think of walking on the street with public sculptures, making a whole day plan to visit various art museums and galleries, or attending some art performances, where in the world is the best place for arts in your experience? According to Culture Trip, an online platform that provides travel content curated by a network of global travel experts and locals, some of the best cities for travelers who love arts are Paris in France, New York City in the United States, Sao Paulo in Brazil, Mexico City in Mexico, Florence in Italy, Berlin in Germany, Barcelona in Spain, and Melbourne in Australia. When it comes to Asia, Tokyo and Singapore are the two places recommended. When a city has spaces for arts, it's not only good for its tourists and visitors. According to Urban Institute, a Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit research organization that provides data and evidence to help advance upward mobility and equity, good places to live have more to offer than adequate housing, transportation, jobs, schools, and commercial amenities. They should also have art spaces where residents can express themselves creatively, connect with one another, and engage in experiences that expand their intellect, imagination, creativity, critical thinking, and even their capacity for compassion and empathy. Art spaces and the activities they make possible are crucial elements of a viable community, contributing to its cultural vitality and, by extension, its health, social fabric, and economic development. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, urban planners, community developers, and policymakers in various fields, especially those who are involved with arts, are trying to improve existing communities and design new places in order to reactivate the lively society that existed before lockdowns, bringing the communities back together. According to 9.Arts, a United States-based award-winning art consulting and curating firm, some privately owned establishments, including hotels in Denver, Colorado, are turning their spaces in allowing the public to enjoy artistic and cultural experiences through different art activities filled with artworks from local artists. With many theaters and venues still beginning the process of reopening after a long period of closure because of the COVID-19, mixed-use spaces that serve as a host to corporate functions will be at the forefront of cultivating arts and culture for communities. CU ART4C, Gallery and Creative Learning Space, a project initiated by Faculty of Fine and Applied Arts, Chulalongkorn University, seems to be on board with such trend, although you might not often see Bangkok being a recommended city for art lovers on the international platforms. Mixed-use space of a 3-floored building nearby the university is being used as a café on the first floor, an art gallery on the second, and a workshop studio on the third. The goal of the ART4C is to create art and design space for students, local people, communities around the university, and the art community as a whole. To learn more about the space and its purposes, I talked to Dr. Haisang Javanalikhikara, a lecturer at Faculty of Fine and Applied Arts, Chulalongkorn University, and also director of ART4C, Gallery and Creative Learning Space. From her experiences curating and collaborating with other art institutions overseas, Dr. Haisang also shares with us her reflections on how Thailand could make art spaces more accessible to the public. Could you help explain what the ideas behind the project and also the goals that you want this project to reach?
It was Aldine Busakon Binsan had this vision of having a faculties run art space because we are like Faculty of Fine and Applied Arts has been established for almost 40 years, but there was not any space for students to showcase their artwork or performances or any kind of creative productivities. So yeah, our operation is that we have a coffee shop, a cafe on the first floor, like a restaurant, and they help us with all the bills and the maintenance issues. And we have the second and the third floor space to showcase like students or anyone's actually. We have regular exhibitions, workshops, as well as other activities, not inclusively only students of fine and applied arts, Chulalongkorn University, but also as a whole. And we also joined other festivals that happening in Bangkok as well. Actually, the space is situated at Samyan area, which is an old community near Chulalongkorn University. We've already worked with schools, with the community nearby, and we've also tried to contribute to the art community as well. Just finishing last year, there was this day and night Chula Art Park. We invited artists to make public sculptures for the communities to hang out, to enjoy the artistic environment.
What do you think are some characteristics that make ART4C different compared to whatever that we already have existing, which is not a lot in Thailand or in Bangkok context?
Yeah, actually, I think ART4C is more accessible to general audience because we have this restaurant and the transportation is quite accessible, it's quite easy. And I think the activities that we are doing, we have varieties of exhibitions and activities going on. We are trying to reach as many people as possible. We are trying to approach artists who not really established much and trying to be their stepping stone to have like their first solo exhibitions or to be in a group exhibitions. And I think because we are faculty run, once you say Chulalongkorn University, some people may think that the exhibitions would be conservative, but we're just doing what we think is relatable to people. And that makes us contemporary, not conservative.
So if I was an artist, let's say I'm not from Chulalongkorn University, I would just contact the project.
We accept proposal all year round, but the artist or the owner of the project needs to work with us as well. So we don't really accept the proposal and let them do whatever they want. We would have some input in the like artistic direction, curatorial concept as well. Or maybe sometimes we invite curators or artists to have exhibitions with us. It depends really on the budget and funding because we have a really small organization. It's just myself and my manager. It's quite difficult for us to work with proposals to like curate our own exhibition all the time. We try to do that, but maybe like we accept proposal, develop together, or maybe invite some artists and develop together.
When we talk about art space, making art accessible for ordinary people, I think we kind of like look outwards to like, for example, the Netherlands, full of museums, or other countries, right? That art is just part of citizens' life. So according to your experiences that you're collaborating and also have worked overseas, I just want to know your opinion. Like, what do you think are factors that make art accessible to people in other countries?
Yeah, I would give examples in Australia, in Sydney, because I was recently there. And I felt like people there don't try to make art inclusive. And they have some organizations towards museum. There are museums all over the city, not only in the central. And for art galleries, or the galleries have their own characters. That's why they get some usual audiences and they get some artistic communities coming in as well. I went to some university art galleries because I want to study and I want to talk to the manager or the director and on how they are operating with their spaces. One is the art gallery of University of Sydney. They have this, the space is spacious and they have good funding from the universities, from other foundations in Sydney as a city and the Australian government as well, with enough staff and all that. So they're not really have to work on that so much. And another space is actually, it's just a space that they accept open call proposal from students only. They're not doing any of their own activities. I think that's interesting because many students would want to exhibit somewhere. And I think it's a curatorial process that makes students wants to come up with something very new, very originalities, because the track must be competitive. And I saw art students in one university, they were just having the new space. It's like in the community mall or something, that 3 art schools coming together to start up this space and operate together. Don't see that like it's like Bangkok University, Silapakon University. There's no such thing as collaboration like this between students. And the government or the city really supports art. So I think in Thailand, artists and artworks are well known internationally, but the support from any governmental organization is quite limited. That's why we don't see that much. When we don't see museums or galleries in every corner of our city, it's hard to be one of the way of living.
So from what I listened to you is first budget and also collaboration. But behind all this is that the governmental or people that have the power need to understand the importance of art.
Yes, to understand. I think in the artistic community, we don't really want only money. We want the understanding that makes the policy supports the artistic, the art world. And I think it's the ecosystem as well for the collectors. When art seems to be something luxuries and believed to be something expensive, people tend to not bother to even understand the collecting art. I think because actually you don't need to be rich or be like sophisticated to collect art. I think if you see something you like and you can afford, so just do it.
What do you think Thailand already has the potentials to actually have more art spaces or even to make arts more accessible?
Yeah, I think art scene in Bangkok and in Thailand are growing with more art spaces, more private museums. Private museum meaning collectors showing their own collections. For artists, Thai artists have like so much potential, and they are being exhibited abroad regularly in the very big exhibitions. Triennale, a lot of artists have reached global art scene. So I think, yes, that's the strong point. And I think once there are private museums, private organizations, the government would follow.
That is the conversation I have with Dr. Haisang Javanalikhikara of Faculty of Fine and Applied Arts, Chulalongkorn University, who is also the director of ART4C Gallery and Creative Learning Space. We will take a short break now.
You are listening to Unlock the Science on Chula Radio Plus.
Let's talk about art galleries and how they are different from art museums. According to Contemporary Art Issue, a platform and also publisher and gallery on contemporary art based in Belgium, an art gallery is an exhibition space for display and sale of artworks, a commercial enterprise working with a portfolio of artists in which the gallery acts as the dealer representing, supporting, and distributing the artworks done by the artists. Art galleries play a major role in art industry. They are the link between artists and collectors, scouting for new talent and showcasing the best artists with their exhibition programs. We all know that art galleries and museums are the place to be when we want to visit art exhibitions. Although at first they seem to do the same thing, they are in fact different entities. According to Contemporary Art Issue, the first major difference between an art gallery and a museum is their purpose of existence. The objective of an art gallery is to support artists by exhibiting their artworks, building their career and resume, while earning money on a commission basis. However, an art museum does not make sales, as it is mostly funded by the state. It also does not focus on supporting and monitoring the careers of artists. The main aims of a museum are to create a relevant exhibition program for the public and to contribute to the education of the public, supporting and contributing to the canonization and preservation of cultural heritage. Another key difference is the different role of an art gallery and a museum in the art world. Generally speaking, an art gallery is the link between artists and art markets. The gallery walks you through the art world towards being a successful artist. In other words, working with an art gallery is the first step before an artist is able to work with a museum. After having multiple shows at probably various galleries, when an artist is established in the art market and has become a relevant figure in the contemporary art scene, he can be invited by a museum. It is the main aim of the artist and the gallery to work towards recognition by institutions such as art museums. As a result, an exhibition with an art museum is a major distinction for any artist and a great asset on their artist resume. According to the Art Market Report, jointly published in 2022 by Art Basel, a company that connects leading art patrons and galleries across countries, and UBS, a multinational investment bank and financial services company, both founded in Switzerland. Global art market has returned to growth and recouped lost ground as the global economy rebounded from the COVID-19 pandemic. Following its biggest recession for 10 years in 2020, the global art market recovered strongly in 2021, with aggregate sales of art and antiques reaching an estimated $65.1 billion US dollars, up by 29% from 2020, with values also surpassing pre-pandemic levels of 2019. The United States market retained its leading position, shifting up slightly to 43% of worldwide sales by value. China was the second largest art market with 20%, while the United Kingdom slipped back to third place at 17%. Overall, the art sector adapted greatly to pandemic-imposed constraints as traditional channels like art fairs and galleries staged a comeback. In the countries where there are fruitful collaborations between different actors in the art industry and where arts make money, art galleries have a crucial role in supporting artists and building their careers towards recognition that would be followed by economic opportunities. And often, art galleries and museums do work together, as art galleries represent artists or artist estates in helping them realize the exhibitions museums want to curate. But what about the situation of art galleries and local artists in Thailand? Are art galleries doing well with the role of bridging between artists and museums? To understand more about opportunities and struggles of art galleries, especially the smaller ones in Thailand's arts ecosystem, I talked to Akkara Naktamna, an artist photographer, curator, and the owner of CTypeMag Gallery located in Bangkok. CTypeMag Gallery is an art space established in both online and on-ground platforms for photography exhibitions. It focuses on working with unknown local artists. The on-ground gallery was just established in 2021 amidst the COVID-19 pandemic that hit many galleries quite hard.
From what I know, you have both online and on-ground galleries for the photo artists. I would like to ask what inspired you in the first place to create such spaces?
10 years ago, we didn't have many platforms like photography to promote them or encourage emerging photo artists. We had to send works like a photo works to other platforms in other countries, like Singapore, for example. That was quite a problem in that time that we had to depend on them, you know. Also, on-ground gallery, especially for photography, is not much. In that year, 2016, I found a CTypeMag photography platform online. We aim to promote like a contemporary photo works from the local artists and also from around the world. Especially, I would like to promote the unknown and emerging artists. You know that for established artists, I think they have their own chance, maybe in connections or channel. That means I would like to promote for the unknown artists. Today it is quite better. We have new art space emerging.
When it comes to the on-ground gallery, what do you think makes CTypeMag different from the existing ones that we have?
It might be CTypeMag is from the simple house. I think that house is not meant to be the gallery initially. So the visitor come to the gallery and feeling be like coming to the home of friends. They can talk to the curator. I would like to make it the CTypeMag like close to the people. It should be the human talk to the human. It's not just like a high art. The CTypeMag gallery is focusing just the photography only because of photography is quite close to the mass of people. Many people have like a mobile phone on their pocket, right? They can create the art anytime. It's different from the other art, like the sculpture. You have to have the clay. For the painting, you have the brush.
What do you think the function of art galleries in Thailand's context is?
I think the functions of the gallery or the art space is showing artwork. But besides that, the gallery should have responsibility to send out the message or shout for the right thing. They should have a standpoint. It's not just showing like a beauty of works, beauty of life, or like just the expression from the inside of artists or in the soul of artists. I think it's the functions of the gallery should reflecting the current situation in this country, in the contemporary today.
And how do you sustain the gallery financially? Is it difficult?
For the financial for making gallery today is quite difficult. CTypeMag has a platform for open call. The open call is about the opening, the event, invite the artist, allow the world to submit the work to the platform of CTypeMag. And we will select the work to exhibit at the CTypeMag gallery. Once they submit the work, they will be paying some small money, like $10 or something like that, and that be to the gallery for surviving in this country, And we have the pandemic last year, and fortunately until today, it is quite difficult to survive. I am not just the photo artist and curator. I am the engineer, and I have the full-time job. For my budget can survive the gallery for a while. We have to survive. And I want to make artists survive in the society. And firstly, the gallery should survive first.
The last question I have for you is that how can Thailand make spaces for artists and also the general public more accessible and also make sure that they are sustained?
I think we should help each other rather than waiting for budgets from the government. Once we get the budget from the government, it will come along with the called censorship. In my opinion, it should have many parties involved, like working together and help each other to get more opportunity and space. For example, the artists, they should get prepared a good portfolio, improving the communication, social media, and so on. That is one party. The gallery and art space, I think they should provide more opportunity to unknown. Another party is new agency. I think this is quite a key party to get more awareness to people. I think the last thing for this is about the audience themselves and the private company. Support from this party is very important to us. Audience can support us by going to the gallery, buy something. It's like a print or buy photo book or sharing the feeling or something on their social media. Is it helpful for the gallery? And for the private company, like a camera company, giving the budget to the gallery is the thing that's important. But if the government would like to give the budget for space, that's good. But it should not come with some agenda or some politics.
Akkara also shares with Unlock the Science that he is now collaborating with Museum of Contemporary Art, or MOCA, a privately owned art establishment located in northern suburb of Bangkok. He sees this as a very good opportunity as big art establishments here in Thailand now start to work more with aspiring artists and curators instead of focusing on only the renowned and established ones. Although the name of MOCA has the word museum in it, if we consider that a museum in general is a public and non-commercial institution, MOCA, which is privately owned and does sell some artworks, could fall into the category of mega gallery. Mega galleries are highly influential art galleries with the infrastructure, number of employees, and standard of quality being equal to the standards of major museums. However, over the last 10 to 15 years, the lines between museums and commercial galleries have become increasingly blurred as mega galleries expand to match museums in funding, ambition, quality, and size. According to the art publisher and platform Contemporary Art Issue, one could argue that museums and mega galleries will merge over time. There is a possibility that private commercial enterprises will take over the role of public institutions, especially in the circumstance that many museums are experiencing financial issues, dated infrastructures, and a lack of available public resources. On the global scale, the rise of privately owned mega galleries in the past few decades has been seen as crucial for aspiring artists who seek opportunities. Both of our guests today agree that things are looking bright when it comes to art spaces in Thailand, as there are more spaces emerging, and the need for more collaborations between different stakeholders in the art world is being addressed. However, Dr. Haisang highlights the importance of the Thai government's role in supporting the art ecosystem on the policy level. If we want art to be part of ordinary citizens' lives where people can enjoy and benefit from what artistic activities bring, be it socially, psychologically, or economically. Along the Science would like to thank Dr. Haisang Javanalikhikara, lecturer at Faculty of Fine and Applied Arts, Chulalongkorn University, and also director of ART4C, Gallery and Creative Learning Space, and Akkara Naktamna, an artist photographer, curator, and the owner of CTypeMag Gallery in Bangkok, for sharing their thoughts and insights with us on how to create and sustain art spaces for the public. I hope you enjoy our program. You can listen to Unlock the Science on Chula Radio Plus at FM 101.5 every Saturday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can also listen and follow us on our website, curadio.chula.ac.th, and our Facebook page. Our show is also accessible as podcasts, including on Apple and Spotify. See you again next Saturday. Have a nice day.
Unlock the Science is edited and produced by Sinfa Tunsarawut